Really excited to have the opportunity to introduce Jennifer Denouden. Jennifer is the Chairwoman and CEO President of Avanna, and which was named Canada's top 10 fastest growing companies on the 2020 growth list. Jennifer, look forward to hearing what you have to say. Thank you for being here today.
Hello, everyone. First, I want to say thank you to the SCSA for including me today. I have an enormous amount of respect for this association. I love their vision to create the safest construction environment in Canada, and I fully support their mission to provide safety related programs and services to the construction industry that result in a sound foundation for a safe, healthy, and profitable industry. My company and yours are better off if the SCSA continues to be successful at fulfilling their character. As you may know, my company, Avanna, is Saskatchewan based, family owned, and female led. We are a real estate development and property management company, but that just describes who we are. What you may not know is why we do what we do. My real passion and purpose is to be a leader amongst our peers in demonstrating social responsibility. I truly appreciate the communities we're fortunate enough to build in, and I believe that the strength of every neighborhood can be improved upon with the generosities of the companies that work within them. Companies like yours and mine, which is why I'm thrilled to be here and share some thoughts with you. It's truly an honor to be listed amongst the talented speakers we've heard from over the last couple of days. I especially appreciate the theme of leadership, given the uncertain times that we are in. One thing is super clear to me. We are all dedicated to seeing meaningful progress in our industry, and that fills me with pride and excitement for the future. And actually creating a better, smarter, more valuable future, building up and looking forward, as we're calling it today, is exactly what I'm doing with my team. And I hope to share some worthwhile ideas with you so you too can build up and look forward. I believe that success is heavily predicated upon a leader's ability to place proper bets on the future. Consider that in our industry, perhaps more than others, everything we create is designed to provide future value for consumers we don't yet know and must be relevant and desirable for some future needs state we have not yet fully identified. We're building for a world we haven't yet lived in based on past performance, proven principles, and predictions that we must trust are reliable. I have so much respect for the people in this room because builders and developers, the risks we take are so much greater, the monetary stakes are higher, and the structures we build must remain viable for longer periods of time than our peers in other industries such as apparel, tech, or automotive, for example. Over the years, I've been to my fair share of stores, but I have yet to find a crystal ball worth buying. There is no gadget or gizmo that will tell us the answers we need to know to de risk the scariest parts of our job. But I can offer you 4 tips that have helped me and my team as we've done our best to make decisions today that will certainly impact our success in the future. The first tip is to find someone on your team who is really comfortable thinking 10 years or more ahead. Most people can be classified as either planners or reactionaries. Planners prefer to make plans, while reactionaries pride themselves on dealing with the crisis or opportunities immediately in front of them. If you're the planner in your company, great. But if you're not, you need to make sure that you have a planner in a senior enough position to truly influence how you deploy resources. Success is found in the tension and interplay between planners and reactionaries. At Avanna, I am clearly the planner. It's an innate part of my character and has been for as long as I can remember. For example, when I was 10 years old, I planned my wedding. Seriously, I had intricate details for the bridesmaids and the flower girl dresses all worked out. I had the flower selections made. I even had the honeymoon planned. I still have the binder where I carefully organized all of the intricate details. I didn't have the husband selected, but as soon as he showed up, I knew I was going to be ready. As I grew up, my natural tendency to prepare for and plan both big and small events only got more intense. By the time I was 14, I knew I wanted to be a businesswoman. So I began purchasing office wear as a teenager. So by the time I graduated high school, my entire professional wardrobe was ready to go. Most recently, I designed my current forever home and have created larger than normal walk-in closets for all 4 of my kids. Right now, my kids are 4, 5, 6, and 8, and they certainly do not need large walk-in closets. But in my head, I worked out that if one day all my kids also had little kids of their own, they may need a little bit of extra space when they all want to come visit and have a sleepover. So each walk-in closet is specifically designed to fit a playpen, and I've already imagined what it will look like when everyone is home for the weekend. If you are only living in the here and now, you are not properly preparing for tomorrow, and that is putting your company at risk. Unfortunately, I see too much short-term thinking in the construction industry. Sometimes it's the result of legacy thinking, believing that what contributed to your past success will continue to contribute to your future success. In other cases, it's a lack of diversity and not getting enough differing perspectives and data points from people who don't look or act like the existing decision makers. And in other cases, it is sameness and short-termness that is the unproductive byproduct of being way too slow to adapt to new technology or embrace new ways to connect with staff and consumers like social media, for example. A good planner knows they must never surround themselves with one predominant demographic or point of view, and that the most strategic decision making requires meaningful and sometimes heated debate. A good planner mustn't shy away from conflict. And what they fear most is not placing a bad bet, but rather slowly drifting into irrelevance, enduring a long, painful demise of their firm. My advice to you is to look around your table. If everyone looks the same as you, or thinks the same as you, or has a very comparable set of skills, it's time to make a change. If being an obsessive planner and future thinker isn't your natural state, that's okay, but surround yourself with someone on your team who does live in that headspace. Because access to someone who proudly confesses to being a bit of a futurist definitely has its benefits. That person will excel at working on your business rather than in your business and dramatically improve how you plan, project, and proceed. The second lesson is learn how to read the tea leaves. I learned the other day about a fortune-telling method that interprets patterns in tea leaves. Evidently, when someone finishes off a cup of loose tea leaves often line the side or the base of the cup. The idea behind reading the tea leaves is that while drinking, a person's movement affects the leaves swirling around so that when they settle, the shapes are unique to that person. It is then up to the reader to interpret these shapes. Our industry needs more data nerds and seekers of cold hard facts. Even better, if you can add people to your team who are not only skilled at, but fascinated by data analysis and interpretation. Let me give you a recent example of this. I was talking to a friend recently about shopping malls. He told me about a mall developer client of his who builds shopping malls with 40-year time horizons. Now, that's a long-term plan, especially because I've heard him complain about helping another client in the retail industry draft a 3 and a 5-year business plan. But in mall developments, strategic planners must consider socioeconomic and technological macro trends that seemingly have little to do with stuff like construction materials or architectural plans. For example, this mall developer paid for a pricey report on the proliferation of rideshare technology and the viability of autonomous vehicles. Those two macro trends are shifting public perception about vehicle ownership, which is super relevant to mall operators because a huge part of the development cost is the land itself. And they may need 50% smaller parking lots to account for how people will no longer drive their own car in the mall in the very near future. A good planner understands the implications of those types of trends so they can design, purchase, develop shopping experiences that are fully optimized for the world we're soon going to inherit. If you think placing bets with hundreds of millions of dollars at stake is terrifying, you are absolutely right. But we are in the industry of prediction, and luckily, there's some data and experience we can leverage to make sure our bets we place are as strategic, educated, confident, and future fit as possible. I believe that data is good, information is better, and actionable insights are the most valuable. It's important we don't confuse those three things, or we'll end up spending too much time and money on irrelevant data and not enough time and money on smart analysis. Actionable insights help us better predict exploitable trends, and properly predicting trends is critical for all of our long-term success. Perhaps it is my background in my first career, which was financial planning, but I've been challenging my team members, our strategic partners, our agency consultants to learn how to better interpret data ever since Avanna was born. Some of the trends that we've been paying particular attention to include 1, the fact that women are becoming increasingly dominant consumer decision makers when it comes to making purchases and investment decisions within the household. Not just the consumer goods within the household, but the homes themselves. More single women are invested in homes, and a lot more relationships, women are leading the charge and directing the choice of where and how they want their families to live. So we're then left with determining how can we show a home that in a way that not only satisfies him, but also her. The second data point we've been paying a lot of attention to is population growth in Saskatchewan. International immigration is the key force driving the population in Saskatchewan. Over the past 5 years, our province has seen record numbers of foreigners coming to the country. And to our province. So it goes without saying that we need to adapt to this trend. We need to prepare ourselves for this continued cultural diversity growth and learn how people from different backgrounds and of different nationalities live. That way we can fulfill their home needs and their home dreams. A third point is another point of data that we've been paying attention to is that developers tend to build mostly 1 and 2 bedroom suites. It's due to the fact that the return on investment is usually higher with a 1 or 2 bedroom suite. So at Avanna, we have modeled our portfolio in that 50% of our suites are 3 bedroom units, making us an anomaly. Although the ROI is lower on a 3 bedroom suite, it also means our vacancy is lower due to a decreased supply. The conscious decision allows us to fill a need for families that other developers currently are not, which is also resulting in a positive community contribution and a response to the types of living arrangement that more and more renters are keenly interested in. Finally, the dream of home ownership is becoming harder and harder to achieve every single year. In Canada, up until 2016, home ownership was on a steady rise for 4 decades. And now we're starting to see the percentage of people willing to commit to a mortgage declining, especially within the millennial demographic. So it's important to prioritize designing and developing rental homes for the long-term renters in our communities, which is what we're focused on here at Avanna. In almost every way, but especially when it comes to recognizing and interpreting trends, being female-led has offered Avanna a unique advantage. We do not see the industry the same way as a 50-year-old man sees it. We are purpose and innovation-led. We are completely unique when compared to the traditional focuses that have made up this industry in Saskatchewan. We compile all of the information available to us. We model it in several different ways, resulting in making educated, strategic decisions. This allows us to make big, bold, exceptional moves while reducing the overall risk within our enterprise. The third lesson may seem a bit obvious, but we sometimes forget that we are in the driver's seat of our own future. It's our time, so we better be ready and rise up to the challenge. We can literally be the change we hope to see in the world. When I'm interviewed, I'm often asked, what keeps you up at night? I understand the intention of the question, and I don't blame the interviewer, but it's the wrong question to ask me. The question focuses on fear, on risk, and how we need to manage it. I prefer the question, what gets you out of bed in the morning? That question is filled with hope and optimism and an eagerness to wake up every single morning with the intention of living your best life. What does it mean to live your best life? This is another question I get asked often. For me, it started with creating a really strong set of values and committing to being a value-based decision maker, both personally and in business. I will take the hard road if it is the right road. From there, I was able to solidify my goals and desires for my own life. My desired path is now so clear that I envision it every single day. The manifestation then molds every decision I make every day. The result, I get to live a very fulfilled life, leading the most amazing business, the most amazing team, while still getting to be a hands-on mom and wife. You really can have it all if you live a life of intention and believe you are truly worthy of your own dreams. My advice here is not to become too consumed with trying to predict the future and instead become more committed to success. Do what is necessary. Have the grit and determination to overcome challenges, setbacks, and even failures. The only way to avoid failure is to never try anything new. Also, accept that there's no substitute for expertise. We must all strive for greater and greater competence, which means we should continue to support organizations like this, who help us become very, very good at our jobs. I hope today that we all rededicate ourselves to this industry and craft that we love. Let's relentlessly keep at it, and especially to those of us trying to blaze new paths. Let's not be dissuaded by those who try to hold us back or mock us for doing things no one else has ever done before. Stand tall, don't quit. Put in the work. There is simply no other way around it. It does not matter how smart you are, how much money you have or don't have, or what position you currently hold. You will not achieve exceptional leaps without a significant amount of hard work. Finally, my last tip is to be agile. My first tip dealt with planning, but remember it takes two types, planners and reactionaries. Rarely are both skills mastered by the same person. So if you're the planner type like I am, go find a reactionary to serve as your partner or confidant, because despite your best efforts, we're all going to get sucker punched once in a while. I can confidently say that no one in this room had a pandemic response plan 15 months ago. It is only due to quick thinking and strong, agile leadership that we all handled this incredibly difficult and unforeseeable situation. When I entered this industry 8 years ago, I was unprepared for factors that were beyond my control. Unprepared for things like banks didn't offer the support we were looking for. I did not anticipate that being a 26-year-old girl from Saskatchewan wanting to become a growth-based business in new construction and eventually a leader in new construction would be considered a really risky bet. Contractors did not take us seriously, and we had a hard time getting phone calls and emails answered in the beginning. The existing construction community did not support us. Leaders from the industry called me sweetie and told me that my dreams were cute, and everyone wrote me off as being completely unqualified. I had to learn to do it on my own. I had no mentorship. I had no leader. I was the leader of our company, and I had very little support from external sources, but I was not going to fail. The cool thing I learned a long time ago was that these tough times, the tough times that caused me to wake up in the middle of the night to strategize solutions, they're character building. They taught me resilience. The tough times make me take a step back during the really great times to be extra grateful. Running a business has so many ups and downs, and that is never going to change. The older I get, the more pride I take in how I respond to the unforeseen. Over the past few years, I have positioned my mindset to be in a place where I'm actually grateful for the unexpected blows because it makes my accomplishments so much more meaningful. Who you surround yourself with has more impact than meets the eye. They say you're the average of the top 5 individuals you spend your time with. My advice, choose wisely. And make sure you have complements to your strengths so that some of you are planning while others are reacting. So there you have it. Those are my top 4 tips for placing strategic bets on the future that will see you through a built-up and forward thought tomorrow, designed with intention and made to challenge the status quo, not simply follow it. Before I go, let me just share one last thought. I mentioned at the beginning of this speech that I built Avanna because I wanted to run a socially conscious company. While I enjoyed sharing some lessons from my professional journey to hopefully improve how you can future-proof your business, I'm not the best expert on that topic. I've enjoyed some success by following the tips I've shared, but what I've enjoyed most about my career comes from following my heart. And my heart compels me to share one final thought. I used to feel very frustrated with Saskatchewan. This province was run by an old boys club, outdated and out of touch, repeating lots of the same old. Lately, however, I have felt like we are on the verge of a shift. I'm inspired because it seems like Saskatchewan is starting to progress into becoming more growth-oriented and a more inclusive province. Saskatchewan leads Canadian provinces in intimate partner violence statistics. It has made the news for lashing out at pro athletes standing in solidarity for Black Lives Matter. Now more than ever, the voices of progressive leaders in this province need to be heard. We need to promote and choose a mindset of progress and change instead of defaulting to how things have always been done. The old, outdated ways no longer serve our people. When Shaq Evans, wide receiver for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, came under fire for tweeting back at fans critical of Black Lives Matter, the outcry from the racist menacing him was absolutely appalling. Though Shaq walked back his tweets and re-signed with the team, taking one look at the comment section of the articles on social media amazed me as I realized the strength and compassion he must have had to continue to lead here. He can choose to go elsewhere and give his skills and talents to another team. He could have decided to move his life and turn his back on the troth so clearly in denial of the uprising movements like BLM Inspire, but he chose to stay and press on. Supporting these movements and the progressive voices behind them will be how we break the cycles of oppression against minority populations. It's why I threw my support behind Regina's first ever elected female mayor, Sandra Masters, who unseated a 2-term male incumbent with her fresh, strong, and progressive voice. It was an honor to help shake up the old boys club of my local government, and I acknowledge that the opportunity was made possible because of where I find myself today. I own the fact that I am a privileged white woman in Canada. I am the CEO of a successful business. I am active in the community, and I consider myself a progressive voice committed to shaping the province's future. As a young female leader, I can directly empathize with facing sexism and ageism in a traditionally male-led industry. It's often left me feeling out of place and frustrated that change isn't happening quickly enough. These feelings cause me to reflect about how we could further help support this necessary shift in Saskatchewan. Whether public figure, business leader, or community beacon, we as the province's builders and developers have to commit to standing up for the people and groups being ostracized and overlooked. Speak out, defend, and act, even if it starts by using your wallet. Choose to support our minority populations through words and actions. We have to bring more light to the unacceptable, outdated sidebar conversations that are happening out there. I want to say a sincere thank you once again to all of you here listening today, and especially for the conference organizers for having me. It was such a pleasure being with you, and I wish you all a really lovely day.
Thank you very much, Jen. That was a very informational keynote that you gave to us there. So this includes our agenda for today. I want to thank you very much for showing up and being a part of this event. Thank you to the attendees and the organizers and all the participants. And please have a safe day and a great day. Thank you very much.